Hey guys, this week on the Real DVD Watchers, I'm going to be reviewing a movie from the Hammer Film Company, which has produced a lot of horror movies, and I've actually only watched two Hammer movies. I'm starting to watch a few more of them, so I figured I'd review one this week. So far I've watched The Nanny, which starred Bette Davis. It's a movie, and it was very, very good. Basically it was about this family where Bette Davis obviously played a nanny, and it kind of revolved about this really horrible child, this boy whose sister had mysteriously drowned, and the boy was sent away to kind of a behavioural school, and he comes back to the house and starts making all these accusations that the nanny's trying to kill him, and then all these strange things happens, like the mum gets poisoned, and you think that the kid's done it, and it's very much a case of you're not sure whether the nan is doing these things or it is the boy that's doing them. It's a really great movie. I highly recommend going and checking that one out. That's The Nanny. But the movie I'm going to review this week is Dracula Prince of Darkness. This movie is the third movie in the Dracula Hammer series, which stars Christopher Lee. Third movie in the Dracula series. The first one I think is just called Dracula. The second one I think is The Bride of Dracula, or The Brides of Dracula, I'm not sure. And then Dracula Prince of Darkness is the third one. Now, by no means does that mean that you need to have seen the previous two to get this one, because I haven't seen them. Basically, it's, you know, you can watch it with no prior knowledge of what happened at all. It does have a clip at the beginning, which I'm guessing is from The Brides of Dracula, or whichever it is that becomes before the Prince of Darkness, showing how Dracula was defeated in the last movie. This movie starts off with a couple, well, two couples actually, two English couples who are stranded on holiday in the Carpathian Mountains. Basically, they're on this kind of holiday away from England, and they're in a bar or a pub one night, and they meet a priest who tells them not to go to the Dracula castle, where obviously where the Dracula character lives. So they end up taking this horse and carriage up to where this castle is, and the driver there leaves them there. He doesn't want to take them any further, and this mysterious horse and carriage comes along, and they climb inside, and it takes them up to Dracula's castle. When they get there, they meet this butler called Clive. I think his name's Clive. Clove! His name is Clove. Why would I... His name is Clove, not Clive. Yeah, they meet the butler called Clove, and the butler tells them that it was his master, Count Dracula's dying wish, that any travellers that come by, they should all be catered for by Clove. So he cooks them dinner, he sets up their rooms for the night, and so one of the characters named Alan, in the middle of the night, decides to investigate the castle, and he ends up finding this kind of hidden passageway. He goes down these stairs, and he's attacked by Clove, and Clove hangs him from the ceiling, slits his throat, and lets this blood drip into Count Dracula's tomb, which brings Dracula back to life, and then Dracula kind of wants to kill everyone. He wants to, basically, if you haven't seen Dracula films before, Dracula is a vampire. How anyone can not have heard of Dracula, I don't know, but he kills Alan's wife. So when Alan's killed, his brother then takes on the role of trying to defeat Dracula and to trying to take him down once and for all. And he kind of enlists the help of this priest who helps them off at the start of the movie by telling them not to go to see Dracula in the first place. So yeah, it's kind of slightly kind of a revenge kind of plot going on as well. What I haven't mentioned is the film was directed by Terence Fisher. It marked the return of Christopher Lee, obviously, as Dracula. One of the interesting things about the movie is that Dracula doesn't speak at all in this movie. It's basically because Christopher Lee was so unhappy with the lines that he was giving, he refused to say them, so he remained silent for the whole movie, which is kind of weird. It's a strange element to the film, because towards the later half of the movie, when Dracula is introduced, because that's another big thing, even though Christopher Lee is kind of the main cast member in this movie, he's not actually in it that much, more towards the last kind of half hour, 40 minutes of the film, and even then, obviously, he doesn't have anything to say, because he has no lines, but like I was saying, even though he's billed as the main character, he's not in it that much. The second half of the movie, when Dracula is in it, is kind of like a silent movie in some ways, because there isn't that much dialogue, and it's really good. It's got this really great gothic-y kind of feel to it, which a lot of the Hammer films had, which is really cool, and it keeps with that. And the direction in this movie is excellent. There's some really amazing scenes, especially when the character I keep forgetting his name, Clove, is introduced. It kind of zooms in on his face, and like the lighting is underneath, so it makes him look really scary and stuff. Which has been used in countless horror films and stuff since, but they look really cool. And it's just a really great movie. And what I love about older horror movies and older movies in general is that when they end, they end. Like it kind of ends, and then the credits scroll up. You don't ever have kind of that bit afterwards. So when Dracula is defeated in this movie, which you know is going to happen, so that's not really a spoiler. But when he's defeated, that's the end of the movie. The credits roll, that's it. In other movies that happen nowadays, you kind of have the killer is defeated, and then you have this kind of whole 10 minutes afterwards where they kind of wrap things up, and sometimes that's great, but in this kind of movie, that's what I love, because it's just that's it, it's over, and the movies kind of wind up. It goes right up to the last minute of the film. And then it just stops, and you have the credits roll, which I think is awesome. That's what I really like about these older movies. But yeah, overall, the Dracula Prince of Darkness is excellent. If you're going to watch a movie this Halloween, you might want to consider this one, because it is good. It's not scary, by any means is it gory or anything. There is blood and stuff in it, but not anything that, compared to nowadays. I think back in the day, this movie was obviously quite shocking, for its time, but now it's fairly tame. But I really enjoyed it, I really did, and I definitely want to check out some of the other Dracula movies. There's 8 in total, and I'm not sure if all of them star Christopher Lee. I'm pretty sure most of them do, maybe 7 out of the 8 or something like that. But I do want to go back, watch the first one and the second one, and the ones that follow this as well. So Dracula Prince of Darkness, really great movie. Highly recommend going and see it, or renting it or buying it, whatever you want to do. Might want to consider watching it for Halloween, like I said. If not, definitely check out The Nanny as well, which I mentioned earlier, which is another Hammer horror movie starring Bette Davis. Really great film. Very different to Dracula. Dracula's got that more gothic-y kind of traditional horror movie, whereas The Nanny is kind of more of a mysterious, kind of thrillery type film, but just as good. And if I had to give them a rating, I'd probably give Dracula maybe an 8.5/9 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. It's a really great movie. It's got a great pace to it. It never feels boring or drags at any point. The same goes for Nanny as well.